and it's 38 degrees. I'm Gary Sutton. You can text us this morning, 833-478-4729. We were just talking about John Fetterman, our senior senator here in the state of Pennsylvania. And a person wrote in, John Fetterman wore his signature sweatshirt and shorts to Trump's inauguration, but he wore a suit and tie when Benjamin Netanyahu came to Congress. Why? I can't say why. I just wrote down he has since changed his approach since Benjamin Netanyahu. He has been wearing the hoodie and shorts everywhere, from what I could see, all the time now. I don't think there was necessarily a slight meant toward the president, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know for sure. But he doesn't seem to care too much what people think. So I'm just saying. And he also doesn't seem to be a guy who cares too much about petty stuff. So I'm just offering an opinion there. But interesting observation. Thank you so much for the text. You can text us at 833-478-4729. And today is National When Hell Freezes Over Day. So you can tell us about, what might happen, has a better chance of maybe happening when hell freezes over. So there you go. But this morning, I wanted to talk a little bit about small businesses. Small businesses generate 44% of the U.S. economic activity in our country. I didn't know if you knew that. And that's how big small businesses are to our country. And especially here in our York County area, we got a lot of small business going on, a lot of small companies like this next one, Lemonade Services. Tom Almanza is a pastor at Greater York Baptist Church, but he's also a business owner. He owns Lemonade Services. And we thought we might talk a little bit to him this morning about small business and the role they play in the country and how the economy affects them right now, how small business manages to fit in with this whole thing. And Tom joins us here on WOYK. Good morning, Tom. How you doing?
Well, Gary, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you this morning. So in addition to being a pastor, you're also a business owner, Lemonade Services. Tell people a little bit about what Lemonade Services does out in the community here in York County.
Lemonade Property Services does home maintenance, and we focus on residential home maintenance plans from pest control to gutter cleaning and dryer vent cleaning and basic home repairs around the house. And in the commercial realm, we have a really whole range of comprehensive property maintenance solutions for buildings. In apartment communities, we can do unit turns, and for investors, we do unit turns and flips, turn painting, things like that. For a lot of the property managers in the area, we do a lot of house calls, things like that. So that's what we focus on. We have a full service painting division as well. That's how I started.
Wow.
But yeah, nonetheless, that's what we do.
So a lot of different things you're doing. And as your business, talk a little bit about what it is to start a small business. I mean, you started this thing from scratch. So what's it like to start a small business and then have it grow? And what are some of the problems that come with that and some of the good things that come with that?
Well, starting a business is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. A lot of times, and in my case, the same is true. When you start a small business from scratch, you are investing everything that you have.
Yeah.
You put your life, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your money, your house, your savings, every single thing into it. And then you have really, it's not like you have, any kind of support from the government either. The government has made it very hard. There's so many fees. There's so many permits. There's so much red tape to go through. There's taxes. They take taxes no matter if your company is profitable or not. We're still in the investment stage, but the government gets a large share of their money. There's over-regulations. There's wage hikes. There's employee, demands. It's like you go down the list, right? It's not for the faint of heart. And so it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to go in it, you better have a strong entrepreneurial spirit that kind of says, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to back down and I'm going to give it my all. And you pray, you work, you pray, you work, right? So,
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do a lot of praying.
44% of the economy is hired by small businesses, and people don't understand fully the effect of small businesses in an economy. And I'm telling you, Gary, the economy has such a huge impact on small businesses. It's kind of like catch-22. It's like the economy needs a small business, but if a bad economy happens, it's going to impact the small business first, and then as soon as the small business is hurt, it's going to impact the economy even worse.
I've looked at some numbers over the years, Tom, and one of the things I remember about how many small businesses went out of business during COVID. I mean, just because of what all happened. and the lack of business activity in the country. But I also have read a number of articles, and they seem to galvanize around this number, that 90% of every startup small business fails. And then people start up something else down the line. So when you're starting a small business like you did, I mean, you're really staring in the face of adversity in the long run. And so you're right, it does take a lot of praying, a lot of spirit, a lot of stick-to-itiveness, a lot of vision, a lot of focus, I think, to do what you're doing. You hire people. You've hired a group of people now to work with you, I'm sure. And, we got into a little bit of discussion the other day about living wage. And someone said it's a job of every employer here to supply a living wage for the people that they hired. And I countered with, no, it's not. It's their job to say, here's what my job is, here's what it's worth, here's what the amount is worth that I can pay you. If you like it, good. If not, get a job somewhere else where it's going to fit your needs more. How do you look at that as far as what you provide as an employer for your employees?
As a small business owner, we look at employees much, much different than corporate people. In fact, a lot of corporate owners never even meet their employees. Okay, we treat our employees like family. We generally find them just like family, friends will recommend somebody, or you hear somebody lost their job. And the reason why is because we don't have the immense foundation that large corporations have. We can't offer benefit packages at the start. We can't offer, there's an instability in the fact that we're new. So somebody that we hired, generally we found because they're either transitioning between jobs or their job just got laid off, or it's very, very, very rare. But every so often you can inspire somebody to see your vision. And when they see your vision and they come to it, they buy into it. So I would definitely say that the goal of giving a living wage is our desire.
Okay.
And not just a living wage, but a thriving wage. We want to be able to give our employees everything because our businesses run with them. They're my coworkers. They're the ones who are going to be really the face of our companies in the customers' homes, working with the different people. And I love it when I get feedback from any employee in our company, and I generally highlight it, post it on our boards. We show our community in our workplace, this is what it is. But the minute that you get into the government trying to mandate certain things and certain this, I'll tell you what it does. It absolutely stifles. I don't know if you've ever read the book Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt, but I read that book back in high school as a mandatory read, and I probably slept halfway through it. But it's definitely much, much more valuable to me now, and that's basically talking about a boy who throws a baseball through a window, and if that window breaks, the shop owner has to spend $100, and they show you how what you see is that money moved, and so it looks like something was good, but it does not show you where that $100 was going to go. That $100 was going to go to a tailor who was, the shop owner was going to buy a suit. And so that tailor lost all that money. So a lot of times when the government wants to hyper-focus in on a group and they want to say, well, we're focusing on the poor, or we're focusing on the unemployed, or we're focusing on the underprivileged, well, it sounds good. Looks like money's moving, looks like you're going to get that minimum wage up. But what it doesn't show you is, well, now, if that's the wage, I can't hire all of these people. I can't hire that new high school kid or maybe a college kid who's looking for some part-time work here. I can't hire that person who just for a few dollars, even though they lost their job and I don't necessarily have a lot of money for them, I can give them that. It doesn't show you the loss. And when the loss is not seen, it is the small business owner who feels the effect of it. So in other words, the economy might be looking like it's doing good because we just gave a minimum wage, mandate. But who takes the effect? Small businesses take the effect.
Well, and I think
a lot of people lose their jobs.
And I think one of the great things about small business in the country is the fact that there's an organic give and take between the customer and the consumer that goes back and forth, and it's like you're playing the game. Okay, the give and take. What is this job worth? If let's say you're going to go in and paint a house, the inside, you've determined this is what the job's worth. Here's what it is. We put our best number out there. We're competing. It's good, and all of a sudden, it's like the umpire, who's the government, steps in and says, oh, by the way, well, you're going to change that price because we're going to insert a minimum wage here that now maybe has made what you determined the value to be something different. And so they kind of just change it just because. And now you say, well, geez, if you do that, then I can't do the job for this price. I can't hire the number of people now that I want it because I got to take that money that I was going to use for hiring other people or paying other people, and now I've got to put it into the minimum wage. So now I've got to hire less people who probably are going to be the very same people that the minimum wage was meant to help. You get all that kind of stuff, and I think anytime the government gets into that, it really does kind of change the whole structure between consumer and employer, right?
Yeah, it sure does, and it affects our Main Street, of America, because those little thriving shops that used to be that made our towns quaint, that made our towns unique, they dry up. And when those people lose their job, if they're on the brink of retirement, they go into retirement and they take with them their expertise with them, and the younger generation goes and generally applies for big box stores and this and that. I'm not against big box, so to speak, but I'm just saying what's left behind is a shell of a town, and people who are looking for opportunities to make money with the real estate that's there. What do? Well, now more people lost their homes because they invested their money in small businesses. Small business shut down. Those businesses went on foreclosure. Who buys them? Investors buy them. They turn them into apartments. People start renting out these storefronts, and all of a sudden your quaint towns in America are gone. Wow. And this is the effect of it. I know we hear on the radio all the time, eggs have gone up, milks have gone up. Well, yeah, I mean, that's true, too, and we've definitely all felt that, but generally we don't stop buying eggs. What we stop buying is we stop going out to Ricoto's, my little favorite joint, where Edgar just became a U.S. citizen, and he started that business, 3 or 4 years ago, and he's worked hard, and I go in there and I enjoy it, and now I can't do that as often. Well, that affects Edgar. That affects Ricoto's. That affects all the employees that he has. That affects, you go down the list.
The domino effect is absolutely incredible. But Tom, I got to tell you, a great conversation this morning. I wanted to get the perspective of a small business owner here in York County, and I'm so glad that we have so many like your business here in York County operating. Hopefully we don't lose that, and maybe in the next couple of years, maybe they'll get better. We'll wait and see. But thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning, and we'll look forward to catching up with you again next week on another topic, okay?
Absolutely. When small businesses thrive, Gary, the entire economy thrives. That's why I love being a small business, because I'm a part of the fabric here, and we enjoy hard work, opportunity, we enjoy freedom, we enjoy people like you who expose some of these issues. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Tom Almanza this morning, a small business owner, maybe representative of so many here in our York area. We're going to take a break. We're going to go back with more news, maybe some news you might have missed, Mark. We need to have that.
And the Fox Sports Update.
And we got the Fox Sports Update right around the corner here on the Gary Sutton Show on WOYK. Don't forget to text our show about something that could happen when hell freezes over. 833-478-4729. Today is National Hell Freezes Over Day right here on the Gary Sutton Show.